I'm delighted this morning to be with Piotr Ruskinet. Piotr will be giving the update in terms of auctions in September. I was going to say in August, but it's September. September the 13th is my Central London morning property meet. I'm delighted that I can drag Piotr away from an auction that particular morning. I'm not sure there's any auctions, thankfully, in London that morning as well. And Piotr's main strategy is auctions. Piotr, we were discussing last night about you lying on a beach in August and really not doing too much, but you said that wasn't quite the picture. You'd spent 1 or 2 days in August focused on work as well. So how do you
Yeah, that
keep?
wasn't happening.
What's that?
That wasn't happening. I went to Poland for my sister's wedding, and I spent a few days on the beach in Portsmouth where I've got a project going on. So that was the only beach lying that I could do.
Okay. So how do you keep yourself motivated in August when most people are lying on a beach or in Disneyland or Disney World or some far-flung destination? Um, but it's also about how do you create that balance as well, because we all need holidays as well. I'm sure at some point, fairly soon, I'll be away for just a few days, maybe. But how do you create that balance, one? So, how do you know when enough is enough? Because at times you need to take a break. And how do you really keep yourself motivated as well in August, which can be, in some respects, the trickiest month when there's no actual auctions going on?
Um, I guess it's important to surround yourself with people who are also working, because there's plenty of people in August that are working, and if you're in touch with them and you work together, then it's so much easier to get stay in the rhythm of working and finding deals. So that's one thing. And the second thing, how do you know when to stop? Is I really have no answer to that. It's hard to stop when you have your own business and when you want to get things done and get things moving. So um, but in August, I mean, it's not difficult. There's two bank holidays, there's long weekends, everyone is away, and it's sort of there are times where you can just stop and relax.
Sure. So, in terms of auctions coming up in September, they start on the 11th of September in London. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. So
So,
there's an auction on the actually they start on the 7th, and but the main big auction is on the 11th,
so
second week.
sure, we were discussing. So the 11th is in Covent Garden. That's Barnard Marcus in the Grand Connaught Rooms, and then the 12th is another auction. I'm not sure where that is in London, and who's that with?
Yeah, that's Auction House London and Swiss Cottage.
Okay, at that Marriott Hotel, Swiss Cottage. So, do you look at particular auction houses for purchase, or do you keep
Mm.
a wide breadth of more than just one or two auction houses?
So I have a subscription to EI Groups, and I look at every auction possible and happening in London, and some of them even happening outside of London that might have London lots in them. So I don't limit myself to one auction house. There are some auction houses that I do more business with than others, but I look at every auction house and I try to find deals in every big or small auction house in London.
Okay, so with the auctions which are outside of London, what's your major strategy to attend or to do telephone bidding?
So I don't attend auctions outside of London. All I do is I look through the catalogs, find deals, and then I speak with the auction house about possibly buying the property before the auction. So recently, I was working with a auction house in Southampton. We're trying to do a pre-auction deal on a house for my clients, and this is why I specialize in. I like to do things before the auction rather than during the auction.
Okay. What's your cookie cutter, or do you have a cookie cutter? So when I say a cookie cutter, some people love three bedrooms, two bathrooms. Some people love ex council. So do you, or is it a little bit tricky because you're working with clients as well, and they've got their own cookie cutters as well, or cookie cutter may not be quite the right word.
Yeah, I've got the whole cookie shop, I guess.
Oh, jeez.
And I look for literally, like, I look at every property that's in the auction, and in auctions it's more about circumstances than about the property. And if there's right circumstances and the right price, then every property works. If I had to choose just one type of property that I'll be focusing on, that would be freehold houses split into flats. And I tend
Just
to
just
do
say that again. If you
quite a
had
bit
to,
of.
PR, if you had to choose one strategy, it would be
Mhm.
three-bedroom houses into flats. Did I get that right?
No, so it would be freehold houses.
Freehold
So a
houses.
freehold block, yes, that's already split into flats that just needs created. So that strategy is called freehold to leasehold, um, and that's the most kind of. I don't know, that it's fairly straightforward, but not everyone knows how to deal with those things properly. So there's opportunities in that strategy.
Because everyone's got their own favourite strategies. Everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses as well. What? And I promise you, it'd be 5 minutes. So before we conclude and say, join us on the 13th of September at the Central London Morning Property Meet. What made you go for auctions rather than options or rent to
Mhm.
rent, or why auctions? Because you're the go-to guy in the UK right now for auctions.
I guess that the auctions are, for me, this is the place where things are happening. As my background is in property sourcing, and I've been sourcing for 6 years, and I had deals where I was working on very lucrative deals for clients, and they were dragging on for 12 months, sometimes 18 months, and then we had no guarantee that that would ever happen, and some of them fallen through. So that was 18 months out of my life, and without any payments. So in auctions, I know that if we don't get a deal, at least I spend 3 or 4 weeks working on that given property, and things are very clear. And the same way, if something happens in the auction, you're pretty much guaranteed that it's going to go through within 4 weeks. So that's what I find attractive about auctions.
PR, I just want to say huge thanks for taking time out today. Want to say huge thanks to the listeners as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.